land. It has started more wars than gold, ruined more families than money, and turned more brothers into enemies than love ever did. And in today's story, a piece of land is about to do all three. Plus, there's a ghost involved. Yeah, you heard me right. Ghosts, inheritance drama, and a drunk uncle. Welcome to the most chaotic family meeting you've ever attended. Stick around, because this story has betrayal, tradition, rebellion, and one of the most determined women you'll ever meet. And no, I'm not telling you the name of the play just yet. Let's start from the very beginning. Somewhere in a small village in Kenya, a man named Pastor Ngoya passes away. And like any good father who believes in fairness and justice, he decides before his death to write a will. In it, he declares that his daughter, yes, daughter, will inherit his land.
It's about to go down.
Now, if you're thinking, what's the big deal? Then clearly you've never attended a traditional inheritance meeting in a patriarchal society. Because for Ngoya's family, this is not just strange, it's scandalous. Meet Jumba, Ngoya's brother. Jumba is the type of man who wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and sees the head of the family, even if no one else does. He's a proud traditionalist. He believes land should go from man to man like an unspoken law of nature. And a woman inheriting land? That's basically the apocalypse in his eyes. And Jumba isn't alone. He quickly teams up with Ababio, Aminata's own brother. Now let's talk about Ababio for a second. If there were an award for most likely to ruin his inheritance on alcohol, Ababio would win it hands down, but he doesn't care. He's a man, and in his mind, that's qualification enough to own land. So, the two men join forces to block Aminata from claiming what is legally hers. But Aminata isn't backing down. She's educated, determined, and has the will of her late father on her side, literally. And speaking of wills, Pastor Ngoya didn't just leave behind land. He also left a request. Do not cement my grave. A simple wish, right? Wrong again. Jumba and Ababio decide that if they cement the grave, they can bury not just the man, but also his progressive ideas, like family planning, women's rights, and equality. So, they do it. They pour the cement and pat themselves on the back, thinking they've stopped Ngoya's legacy from haunting them. But they were wrong about one thing, because haunt them, he does.
Skull, congratulations, you played.
Meanwhile, Jumba uses his power as a village elder to try and turn the community against Aminata. He argues that land ownership is for men, even if that man happens to be a drunk like Ababio. But Aminata stands firm. She's a lawyer, she knows her rights, and she's ready to fight for them. The tension in Membe keeps rising until the story takes a supernatural turn. Jumba is confronted by the ghost of none other than Pastor Ngoya himself. Imagine that. You're plotting to deny your niece land, and suddenly your dead brother shows up to say, "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?" Faced with the ghostly reckoning, Jumba is forced to confront his actions. He eventually surrenders his position as leader of the elders. And here's the twist. He hands it over to his wife, Rosina. Yes, the very same man who spent the entire play insisting that women should never lead, ends up giving leadership to a woman. As for Ababio, the shame and humiliation of losing to his sister is too much for him to bear. In a tragic ending, he takes his own life. And Aminata? She finally inherits the land that was rightfully hers all along. Justice, though long delayed, is served.
Woo! Yeah!
And that, my friends, is the story of Aminata, a brilliant and deeply thought-provoking play written by Kenyan playwright Francis Imbuga. It's a story that starts with a simple will, but ends up unpacking some of the most complex questions about gender, tradition, and social change in African society. What I love most about this play is how deceptively simple the plot is. On the surface, it's a story about land inheritance, but beneath that, it's a battle over identity, power, and progress. the land becomes a symbol for so much more: equality, legacy, and the right of women to own property and control their own destinies. Let's talk about the key themes that make this play so powerful. The most obvious theme here is male chauvinism. Jumba is practically the poster child for it, constantly reminding Rosina that he is the head of the family and doing everything in his power to block Aminata simply because she is a woman. Ababio shares the same beliefs, convinced that being male automatically places him above his sister. This theme runs deep throughout the story. On one hand, you have traditionalists like Kesia and Mulemi's father, who believe in polygamy and large families. On the other, you have modernists like Pastor Ngoya and Mulemi, who support family planning and monogamy. This tension reflects a larger societal struggle, the pull between preserving cultural values and embracing change. Aminata's character is the embodiment of emancipation. She refuses to be defined by outdated customs, even defying tradition by eating chicken at a public event, something women were not supposed to do. And, Rosina's eventual rise to leadership is another major milestone. The saying that the stool of Membe is not meant for female buttocks is shattered by her appointment. One of the most powerful messages in this play is the role of education. Aminata's legal knowledge and education equip her to stand up against injustice. Education becomes a tool of liberation, not just for her, but for all women. Francis Imbuga, who lived from 1947 to 2012, was one of Kenya's most respected playwrights and literary voices. His works often explore social change, power, gender, and cultural transformation in post-colonial Africa. What makes Imbuga's writing so impactful is his ability to blend humor and drama with deep social commentary, and honestly, Aminata is a perfect example of that. Through witty dialogue, intense family conflicts, and even supernatural elements, Imbuga challenges us to question the norms that hold societies back. He doesn't just tell a story, he starts a conversation. At its heart, Aminata is about courage. The courage to challenge injustice, to question tradition, and to carve out your own space in a world determined to keep you in the background. It's about a woman who refuses to be told she can't inherit land simply because she was born female. And it's about a society learning, sometimes the hard way, that progress is inevitable. If you're interested in African literature that combines humor, social critique, and unforgettable characters, this is a play you absolutely need to read. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about this story. And remember, never underestimate a determined woman with a will, and a will. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.